What's up, guys? It's your boy Kid Comics, and today I thought let's talk about one of the most recent books that I've been reading, and it's actually apparently Chris Claremont's best. And I've been waiting to read about this for a long time, and now that I finally have it, I'm so excited to show you guys X-Men: God Loves, Man Kills. And what I'm thinking we're going to be doing today is let's just talk about the book and do a little review with a rating at the end. So, without further ado, let's begin the video. Now, for the story of X-Men: God Loves, Man Kills. So, obviously, for those of you who don't know, Chris Claremont did the story for this book, and oh my, did he did an awesome job on this. So, there's two different groups that I'm going to be mentioning in this story that I think at least you guys should know about. So, the first one is obviously the X-Men, the mutants. You know who those guys are. Just the superhero team and the mutants overall. The second is the Reverend Stryker organization. And Reverend Stryker is basically this sort of preacher where he's trying to basically eliminate all mutants and, brainwash the world that all mutants are bad by using Christianity as a source. And how he does it is pretty much, he talks about how mutants were never mentioned at all in the Bible except for the devil. So he believes that mutants are the devil and he's trying to destroy all of them. And this book pretty much tackles some really serious topics like racism and, like I said, Christianity and such. But it was really well executed by Chris Claremont. And there's some really dark scenes in this book. Like this really sad scene where these mutant kids are killed by the Reverend Stryker organization. And Magneto, he's just talking a little backstory and how they really didn't have a choice in being a mutant. And they were basically just being discriminated against it and got killed because of it. So, really sad stuff. But the story is 10 out of 10 for sure. And this was when Chris Claremont shifted the X-Men from, less serious topics to very serious topics, and how they were able to tackle things like racism and, even religion. So, yeah, the story gives a 10 out of 10 in my book. Honestly, the art in this story isn't nothing special. If you don't know, the art in this story is done by Brent Eric Anderson. And, it's nothing interesting. It's kind of interesting how it's kind of got like a color palette to it. But, it still did the job of, accenting Chris Claremont's story work. And, helping me understand what's going on in the story. Certain scenes I thought were pretty cool on how he, just drew some of the scenes out. Like, there's this one scene, it's like, Charles Xavier, he's, being, like, used against his, like, mutants, and you even see his backstory, Reverend Stryker's backstory. So, it's got, like, some, like, color palette to it, and it's really special, but, it's just pretty interesting. Brent Eric Anderson did pretty awesome art for it, and that's all I pretty much have to say. Hey guys, it's Editor Kid Comics, and while editing this video, I actually came across a pretty interesting fact about the artist that was originally supposed to do X-Men: God Loves, Man Kills. And the beginning of, finding the artist, Jim Shooter, which was the Marvel editor-in-chief, ended up approaching none other than Neal Adams to do it. But the reason Adams didn't do it was because he didn't want his contract to be a standard, like, work-for-hire agreement. So, Marvel ended up choosing Brent Eric Anderson to do, the illustrations for God Loves, Man Kills. Well, that's going to pretty much wrap up today's video for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this little review I wanted to talk to you guys about. And I really wanted to talk about this book, mainly because I know you guys would enjoy this book, as much as I did. This was definitely Chris Claremont's best, even though I haven't read, some of his other most popular titles except the Wolverine Limited series. This is still a really great story, and possibly even the best I've ever read. On this channel, I've talked about certain books, like, the Wolverine Limited series, also done by Chris Claremont. and even something like Batman The Dark Knight Returns, which was done by Frank Miller. Again, these were some really crazy reads, and even if you haven't picked up any of these books, I suggest you go get a copy, because they're just a whole other level of awesomeness. But, you know what I mean? This book was just extremely special to have, and I'm so glad I was able to pick up a printing of this, because, you know, I only got the third printing. It was only like 10-15 bucks. So if you guys are looking for cheaper alternatives for this book, I'd get like a later print run on this. So, yeah, even though I've, you know, had this comic journey for, you know, about a year, actually, when I first started collecting, I've read some pretty crazy books, you know, ranging from Frank Miller's work, Chris Claremont's work, and, you know, all of the above, like everything, almost. I'm very glad to show you guys that X-Men God Loves Man Kills is an awesome 10 out of 10 in my book. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more comic book content like this, make sure to smash that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next comic book review.